Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So The Midnight Sky is a sci-fi slash drama film starring George Clooney, and it's based upon a book. And the general story is George Clooney plays this scientist slash astronomer who has always wanted to find other inhabitable planets, and it seems like he found one years ago that's near us, near Jupiter. It's called K23. And so about 30 years later, he actually is able to get people to go explore these planets. And one of the spaceship actually went to K23 and it's coming back to Earth. However, Earth is in very dire situation. Some type of event occurred where most of the people on planet Earth are dead or are dying. And so that's kind of what we have here. And within this story, there's like a connection of sorts between what George Clooney is going through on Earth and then the people who are unaware of what's going on coming back to Earth. And so that's kind of like the general overall story. So getting to the thing that I did like about this movie is the fact that George Clooney's in it. He directed this movie, he acts in it, and George Clooney, in my opinion, is a really great actor. And I think he does a really good job in this for this character, just showing somebody who is suffering a lot, but who is at the same time very ambitious in his dreams for K23 or any other inhabitable planets, and he just wants to stay alive as long as he can to make sure that this thing is successful. But at the same time, he also has a lot of things, personal reasons why he's in this situation. And the whole film itself goes back and forth between the past and the present. And so George Clooney, I think, really drives this film. And along with that, there is another character. So this little girl named Iris, who happens to be there with him as well. And I think she does a really good job in terms of like portraying this girl who doesn't say much. And so a lot of her acting is through her emoting. And so I think she does a really good job alongside George Clooney. And then the second thing that I did like about this film is the overall mystery. They talk about this event and K23 and all the missions that's going on to actually make this possible, but you really don't know much about it, specifically this whole event. And so this whole time while you're watching this film, I think that part of it does keep you interested in, what's going to happen next and how did all of this occur. And so that's the second thing I like. And then the final thing that this film does well is the special effects, specifically in the spaceship scenes and the spacewalk. I think they did really well there. This is a movie that is a high budget movie overall. I think it was like $100 million. And I would say most of that went into the space scenes or inside the spacecraft effects. So I think that was done well.
For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at GeekOutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below.
Now, getting into the things that I did not like about this film, to be honest, it was just a boring film overall. It just kind of like started off, kind of exciting, in my opinion, kind of interesting. But as you're watching it, as you're going through the space scene, coming back to Earth, and then looking at previous backstories and other characters, it just really takes its time, and I understand some movies, it just takes time for things to build. And, this isn't meant to be a fast type action movie. But at the same time, I just found myself thinking, when is this going to end, or like when is it going to get to something that, is more interesting? Let's just say that. Which leads me to the second negative of this. And this is a long movie, it's like an hour and 58 minutes. And so whenever it's nearly 2 hours long and at the same time the overall story and pacing and stuff is slow, it just really makes you watch the time a lot, which isn't never a good thing in a film when you're thinking, this is too long, or, you're looking to see what's going to happen next so that, you don't, fall out of this movie entirely and lose all interest. And then the final thing that I did not enjoy about this film is even though the whole mystery aspect stuff was cool, it kept me interested. Well, throughout the film, it never answers that. It only gives you hints and pieces. And I don't think that was the overall point of this movie, as whenever you watch it, you kind of see what I guess the main point is, this whole idea of connection and I guess, ambition and all those other things, but it's really about a connection between a few people, that's really what it's about. And those few people, to be honest, weren't that interesting, Besides like George Clooney's character and the little girl, all the other characters weren't that interesting at all, and you didn't get a lot of the answers that you were hoping for as you were watching this, so there's not a payoff at all. And so those are my overall thoughts on The Midnight Sky. Unfortunately, I was expecting a lot out of this, specifically with the talent behind it and the fact that it's a sci-fi type film. I was hoping we would get more of that, and unfortunately, it's not it. If you were to put these characters in other situations that weren't sci-fi, it pretty much is a more character-driven movie, and it's not this whole sci-fi and world stuff that surrounds it, along with the characters. So, hope that makes sense. If you watch it, you kind of get what I mean. And so that is it for my review of The Midnight Sky. If you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you want to see more of my sci-fi film reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below as well. And if you're a creative geek like me, and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.